Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down a concept from babypips.com that is honestly a total game changer for so many traders. We're talking about why those candlestick patterns you've been studying might actually be costing you money. Yeah, you heard that right. And getting this one thing down could be the difference between a great trade and another frustrating loss.
Okay, let's just dive right in, and we're going to start with a pretty bold statement here. It might even sound a little crazy, especially if you've spent hours and hours memorizing all those different candlestick patterns. And there it is. This comes straight from our source material. On their own, candlesticks are useless. I know, it sounds completely backward. But you gotta stick with me here, because understanding why this is true, well, that's the secret to unlocking their real power. So here's the deal. A pattern, I don't care if it's a doji, a hammer, an evening star, whatever, it means almost nothing in a vacuum. It is all about where on the chart that pattern shows up. Think of it like a clue in a detective story, right? A single fingerprint doesn't mean much until you know where it was found. It's the same thing here. So what does this actually look like when you put it into practice? Let's walk through a real-world Forex example from the source material and see just how powerful this idea is when everything just clicks. So the first step, and maybe the hardest, is patience. You, the smart trader, see the price approaching a really strong resistance level. Think of it like a ceiling that the market just has not been able to break through. So instead of just jumping in blindly, you wait, you watch. You see how the price reacts to this super important zone. And boom, this is where the magic happens. The resistance level told you where to look for a trade. And now, this classic bearish pattern, this is your confirmation. This is the when. It's like the market is tapping you on the shoulder and saying, hey, yeah, that ceiling you were watching, it's holding strong. And would you look at that? This is the power of combining a strong signal with a key level. You waited for the right spot and the right signal, and the trade just has a much, much higher chance of working out. The price drops like a rock, just like all the signs were telling you it would. And suddenly you feel like a trading genius, right? Like the source material says, you're already picking out the color for that new sports car and the matching jet. It just feels so easy when it all lines up like this. But that dream scenario, that perfect trade, it all came down to one single thing: context. So let's hit rewind for a second and see what happens when you ignore that crucial piece of the puzzle. Now you might be thinking, okay, this sounds like a lot of work. Why do I have to wait for support and resistance? Can't I just trade the patterns as soon as I see them? And that is a totally fair question. The answer, though, it's what separates the pros from everyone else. Because, well, have a look at this chart. This highlights several trades that were taken based only on the candlestick pattern, completely ignoring where they were on the chart. And the results are, to put it nicely, a complete disaster. I mean, it's a trader's nightmare. You see a hammer, you buy, and oops, you're stopped out. An evening star forms, classic sell signal, and stopped out again. A doji pops up, you give it one more shot, and bam, stopped out for a third time. The source material is blunt here. If you traded these patterns alone, you would have lost every single time. Okay, so that whole nightmare scenario, that brings us to the absolute core lesson here. It's about shifting your mindset from just being a pattern hunter to actually understanding the market's bigger story. This is what separates pure guesswork from real strategic trading. And this right here, this is the aha moment. This is everything. Candlestick patterns are confirmation tools. Their job isn't to create a signal out of thin air. Their job is to validate an idea that you already have because of a support or resistance level. They are the final piece of the puzzle, not the first. I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day, right? On one side, you've got guesswork, a ton of losses, and just so much stress. On the other side, you've got confirmation, way better odds, and an actual clear strategy. When you see it laid out like this, the choice is pretty obvious. So this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do this? How do you make this a part of your trading process in a simple, repeatable way, starting with your very next trade? It's a simple 3-step process. Seriously, that's it. First, you identify. Before you do anything else, you map out your key support and resistance levels. That's your battlefield. Second, you wait. Just be patient, let the price come to you, let it come to one of those levels. And third, and this is the most important part, you confirm.
Only then do you look for a candlestick pattern to confirm what you're already thinking. It flips the whole script. And so let's end by bringing it all the way back to that powerful, maybe even controversial idea we started with. Burn this into your brain. If you take away only one thing from this entire explainer, let it be this quote. This is the foundation for a much smarter, much more strategic way to trade.
So the next time you open up your charts, I want you to ask yourself this question. Are you going to be hunting for lonely little candlestick patterns out in the middle of nowhere, or are you going to be patiently waiting for them to show up at a key level to give you the powerful confirmation you need? Because that little shift in perspective, it really could make all the difference.